time. Where are you guys posting this?
This is Tom Murphy's.
This is Tom's?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. We're going to get started here with the program in just a few minutes, so if you want to start gathering in, grab your seats, we'll get started in just a couple of minutes.
Thank you for reaching out.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're now going to officially get started. So we're going to gather. As folks are taking their seats, I just want to formally thank everyone for being here. My name is Michaelson. I work with Arts-Based Projects. I'm a project manager on the real estate side, and I had a hand to play in making this project come together, but I got to tell you, I feel very humbled right now and unwilling to take credit for what we are all experiencing here today. I am truly shocked in the best possible way to see what has been accomplished in this space. I mean, I was literally standing there a moment ago talking to the mayor and saying, 5 years ago, we stood underneath crumbling rubble and buildings and rain coming through, promising we were going to do this. And we did it. So, yeah, really, congratulations. Cheers, everybody. This is, I had prepared some remarks, and then I got here, and it's all gone out the window. So, I'm just pleased as punch. This is really, really an incredible project. It's taken so many people, truly Herculean efforts to make this all come together, and we're going to hear from as many of our partners today as we can to talk about that. I'm, just, again, sort of beyond myself in looking at what you can do when you bring a community together and see what a community wants to achieve together, and this is the sort of thing. And we've got 41 units of housing now occupied with people who previously didn't have an affordable place to live. We've got 20,000 square feet of activated creative space that this community demanded and is now executing on. And that's just, I don't know how else you do that. People just come together and doing it. So congratulations to everyone. There's a number of people that are going to get acknowledged today, but I just want to make sure personally that I thank a couple of folks, and one of whom is Tara Marshall, who is not just an incredible and skilled and talented person, but a passionate advocate and someone who I'm very honored to call my friend. So Tara, for everything you've done, thank you. And in a sort of, again, Tara, in a sort of poetic way, if you will, if I might be allowed to be among the creatives here today, we are celebrating, of course, Trinidad Space to Create being the first of the Space to Create projects to come to fruition, to come online, and to be realized. But if all goes well, I think this is right. Tomorrow, we are opening the doors officially on Space to Create Ridgeway. And I'm so pleased to have the mayor of Ridgeway, John Clark, joining us here today as well. The first Space to Create community that was selected competitively, and another community that I've grown to this love, and that John was here again. The last time we were having a groundbreaking party, so I'm coming to realize if you want to get everyone to an event in Ridgeway, you got to invite John Clark, and then we'll all show up. So it's a wonderful event to be here today. I'm so pleased to be a part of it. It truly does take all kind of folks from the funding side, from the creative side, from the grassroots side to make these sort of things happen. It takes true grit and vision to make it happen. And we would not be here today in large measure if it weren't for the visionaries of the state of Colorado who brought us all here together. In particular, now Senator Hickenlooper, who's not able to join us tonight, but who is a key component in creating the Space to Create program. And we've got a recorded message from the senator that we're going to hear and see now. So.
Hi everyone, this is Senator John Hickenlooper, greeting you to kick off what will be an exciting grand opening for Space to Create right here in beautiful downtown Trinidad. In 2015 as governor, we invested heavily in our creative economy and devoted $45 million to the inaugural Space to Create program. This was the nation's first state-driven initiative for affordable housing for artists and other creatives. This past June, I had the opportunity to tour the space, and I met with several of you. Thank you for promoting the creative economy in the state of Colorado and taking a leadership role in developing an affordable and sustainable space for artists and creatives to live, work, and thrive right here in the heart of Trinidad. We share your commitment to ensuring that every American has access to an affordable, quality place to live. Key to that is building more homes and maintaining our existing housing, especially as predatory hedge funds swoop in to buy property and raise rents. Mobile home parks, a viable solution to affordable housing in rural areas, have been a particular target. Just last month, 18 of us in Congress sent a letter urging the Federal Housing Finance Agency to enact stronger protections for residents at mobile home parks purchased with federal backing. And we need to ensure that the government programs aren't just helping investment firms' efforts to buy up properties and squeeze every last cent out of tenants. As you know, rural economic development and the creative economy remain priorities for me and all my team. I've introduced bills to help small businesses switch to renewable energy, make it cheaper and easier for small businesses to offer retirement plans, and lower barriers at the Small Business Administration so that more people can access the capital they need to start new and different kinds of businesses. A big thanks to the City of Trinidad, Los Alamos County, and the teams from ArtSpace and Space to Create for bringing this project to fruition. Today is your day to bask in the glow. All you've done has come to fruition. Congratulations and enjoy.
Wonderful to have some remarks from the Senator, even though he's not able to be with us today. But although ArtSpace, we're based in Minnesota, we operate across the country, all of the communities we work in are truly partners in making these sort of projects come together. We can't come in and invest our mission and expect to be reacted to if there aren't folks on the ground that also want to see that happen. And so with that said, I want to invite Wally Wallace from the City of Trinidad to share a few remarks and welcome him as our true partner and one of the visionaries in creating this space.
All right, I just want to thank you all for joining us this evening. Not only has this project been a huge endeavor of the City of Trinidad and Carter Creative Industries and all of the partners involved, but just the past few weeks have been very crazy getting ready to welcome all of you. So let's hear it for all of you for just coming out and supporting this spectacular event. When I first moved to Trinidad almost 4 years ago, and when I first came down here to look, there was a banner right on the side of that wall saying, coming in 2019. And it took a little longer than that, but we're very excited that it is here and more spectacular than I think a lot of us even could dream of at that time. And it's just amazing to see the residential units up there, and I just can't wait to see all of the creative things that are going to be produced in this space. Back here, we're going to have a business incubator space where different folks can come and try concepts that they may have dreamed about for years, and the city's investment in this space is going to make it possible for them to see if those dreams can come to fruition. So thank you all again for coming, but I'm mainly here to introduce the mayor, so please give a round of applause for Phil Rico, and I'll take these up.
Good evening, and thank you, Wally. Welcome, everybody, to this grand opening today. First of all, I wanted to say on behalf City Council, staff, City of Trinidad, welcome to the Space to Create grand opening. I'd like at this time to acknowledge some of the dignitaries that are here with us today. Mr. Tim Schultz, he's not on any of the panels in Denver, but he was really a great help for us in the beginning. Miss Margaret Hunt from the Colorado Creative Industries, please stand up. We've got Kelly Lindquist, Space Creative. Mr. Will Law, he's here. Wendy Holmes, wherever you're at. And of course, you've already heard from Andrew Michaelson, thank you. Toe Aiken. Caroline Tranny from Chaffa. And John Clark, thank you for coming. I really appreciate you being here. Also, a few other people that are in the audience today. Our City Council, Aaron Ogletree, who is our Mayor Pro Tem. Karen Grego. Naaman Thurman. Frank Shue. Eli DeBono. Our city manager, or new city manager, Mr. Steve Ruber. If you get an opportunity, speak to him. I think he's a fresh start to the community and very presentable. So get some time to talk to him. Also, we have a county commissioner with us today. I think Mr. Tony Haas. This project started when the previous Governor John Hickenlooper designated Trinidad as the first space-grade project in Colorado. The purpose of the project would be to enhance the economic and cultural vitality to the downtown area and provide affordable housing. In December of 2017, the State Housing approved our application. So it was a beginning. It took a couple of years. That's okay. So shortly after that, a flurry of work began immediately. Finding a firm to lead and build the project, of course, was pretty big. A local group of volunteers brought together the community led by Miss Marilyn Lusner, and Marilyn has got to be, she's the man. During that time, they held 2 public meetings, 2 working groups, and 5 stakeholder meetings were held. The survey was also sent out to the community, and we had 616 responses, to the survey. Shortly after that, Art Space from Minneapolis was selected to lead and design the project, which started out as a $7 to $8 million project, turned into I'm thinking right around $20 million project that we have today. So it grew, and that was quite an event. Included are, like Andrew said, 41 art space lofts and a community space, which we're in right now. A project of this size requires public and private partnerships. Including in the funding partnerships were International Bank, who actually donated the first building to the east of us. That was quite a surprise that they stepped up to begin the project. So thank them. We also had Chaffa. Carolyn Trinidad is here representing Chaffa. OEDIT, DOLA, the City Council, of course, Colorado Creative Industries, Alpamar, the Gates Foundation, the Betcher Foundation, History Colorado, and like I said, of course, the City of Trinidad and the Trinidad Housing Authority, who has a special limited partnership in this project as well. In August 2018, Tara Marshall, Andrew Michaelson, and I made a presentation to Chaffa for the 9% tax credit, which was worth approximately $10 million, which is about half of what we needed. So thank you, Chaffa, for that. If I left anybody out, I apologize, because there's a lot of funders that were involved with this project, so I apologize if I left out anyone. In August of 2018, Tara Marshall, Andrew Michaelson, and I traveled to Denver to present to Chaffa for that 9%. And we were notified in September that we would receive the funding. All was really going well until early in December of 2018. Tara Marshall, who was then our development director at the City of Trinidad, she called me up in a panic. She was saying, you know, we have an $875,000 gap. What are we going to do? So I said, let's gather all of our funders. I don't care if we meet under a bridge. I don't care if we meet in Trinidad. I don't care if we meet in Pueblo, Denver, wherever we have to meet. We needed that money by the end of the year, because if we didn't raise it, we would lose the entire project. So Tara and I traveled together to meet with our funders, and we met approximately mid-December of 2018 with several of these partners to try and secure the funding. Everyone that sat at that table realized the importance of the project, and we all stepped to try to get the additional $875,000. We received a call within a week after that the additional funding was secured, plus an additional $300,000. So everyone that was at that table, thank you very much for securing that $300,000. I'd also like to acknowledge and give a thank you to these people that were integral in the project. Our previous governor and current senator, John Lincoln Hooper, Ms. Margaret Hunt, Tim Schultz, Tara Marshall, Mike Pacheco, who is not here today. He was part of CHAFA at the time, and he guided us quite a bit. Marilyn Loser, the people who participated in the public engagement process, Will Law, Andrew Michaelson, the Trinidad Creative Industries Board, and everyone who worked behind the scenes. Thank you to the contracting companies, Gibbs Construction and HW Houston. A special thank you goes out to Wally Wallace, our Economic Development Director, and Marilyn Loser, who have worked tirelessly to get where we are today. So both of you, please stand up. These two people really drove the train. So thank you. Let's also give a big round of applause to the people who have worked on this project. There's been several people behind the scenes that have worked. So today we are here to celebrate the completion and grand opening of the Space to Create project. Thank you for attending. Enjoy the day, enjoy the evening. Walk around. You're going to see what has been accomplished in the last 8 years. It's quite phenomenal. I was in here just yesterday, and some of the areas back here were very incomplete, so the last few days they've been working day and night to get where they are today. So anyway, thanks again for attending, and enjoy.
Welcome. My name is Chantal Lenthug. I'm with the Department of Local Affairs. A lot of you probably don't know us. A lot of you probably don't know of us because we primarily work with the affordable housing communities and the local governments. But really, what we're talking about here is this is about people. It's about all of you. A lot of you have been mentioned already. Congratulations and thank you for sitting at the table. I also want to mention Lee Merkel and Bill, who were in DOLA when this concept came forward, and they were part of the initial group. I know they're here. So it's about people, all of you. It's also about paperwork, I'm sorry. But thank you, Trinidad, for sticking with all of us in state agencies and CHAFA and the banking industry to figure out the loans and all of the paperwork you had to deal with these last years. You did it very well. Got across the finish line. But it's also about place. In DOLA, we're just humbled to be standing by your side. We were stewards of wonderful state dollars that go to projects like this, and we were feeling lucky to participate by doing the initial investment of $2 million to get it going, and look where it went. But we really like to stay in the background in DOLA because this really is about you and creating a sense of place. And I can't believe how you took the reins and really ran with it in Trinidad. And I remember 8 years ago starting this conversation and thinking, how is this going to happen? And here we are. So I just want to say congratulations, and I will introduce Caroline from Jaffa.
Well, thank you, Chantel, and thank you, Mayor Rico, and everyone for joining us today. It is a privilege for me to be here on behalf of Jaffa, the Colorado Housing and Finance Authority. As you have heard from Mayor Rico and some of the additional comments from Wally, this has been a project that's been coming to fruition for a few years now, and again, I'm thrilled to be here on behalf of Jaffa to see it to its final stage and our grand opening final stage today. So congratulations to everyone involved. As you've heard, it definitely takes a village. It takes the whole community to come together for all of our sources at the state level, federal dollars, many of you know. Thanks to Mayor Rico who shared, but we do have Jaffa, who is the allocator for housing tax credits for the state of Colorado. So we were able to work with the project, as Mayor Rico mentioned, from the initial federal 9% tax credit that they applied for, competed for, and were awarded. So that is a huge step on behalf of our project. And of course, any of our communities here in our rural communities and south of the border of Metro Denver that receive these type of dollars, it's a privilege and it's definitely an honor to be able to continue to work and compete for those dollars and to have them awarded to your project. So great milestone. Not only was it the first state Space to Create project, it was also a privilege to be able to participate on behalf of Jaffa, not only as a 9% tax LIHTC allocator for the project, but we also provided some capital magnet funds, some grant funds, as well as loan dollars to help kind of meet that need for that gap. So again, we were privileged to be here from the beginning. Jaffa does believe that everyone should have the opportunity for housing stability and economic prosperity. And again, this project is a perfect example of just that, bringing those two components right here under one roof. So again, a great triumph for your community, a great project, and on behalf of Jaffa, I'm glad to be here and celebrate with you tonight. Congratulations to you all.
I'll try not to fall over. My pal over there said, don't lean on the podium because I'll fall, which I have done. I'm Kelly Lequist, President of ArtSpace. So honored and delighted to be here today and to celebrate with all of you on this beautiful day. I love rain, by the way, for the Trinidad Space to Create grand opening. I'll never forget the first time I visited Trinidad to meet members of the Corazon de Trinidad Creative District with ArtSpace's Wendy Holmes, Will Law, Shannon Joy. Shannon, raise your hand. Yes. Tim Schultz and Margaret Hunt. We were picked up by a fleet of art cars. So cool. And I thought, wow, this town really has something special. It does. Feeling further enforced when we drove into town and toured the beautiful historic buildings with such amazing architecture. I learned then what all of you know so well, that the city of Trinidad is a community with a unique history, filled with vibrancy, creativity, charm, and, as Andrew said, true grit. This unique development project is special to ArtSpace for many reasons. Not only is it ArtSpace's first project in rural Colorado and the first completed Space to Create project for the state, it is providing 41 units of affordable workforce housing and 20,000 square feet of community and commercial space to serve the creative sector. All of us at ArtSpace are so proud of this project, and I know that this new creative hub will foster creativity and great things for generations to come. None of this would have come to pass without the sheer will and dedication of Trinidad's creative community, and so many others, some of whom are in this room today. On behalf of ArtSpace, I would like to thank our partners, all of the staff and leadership teams at the City of Trinidad, the Colorado Creative Industries, Corazon de Trinidad Creative District, the Department of Local Affairs, the Colorado Housing and Finance Authority, as well as the Betcher Foundation for their early investment and continued support of Trinidad's Space to Create. I also want to extend my gratitude to Senator John Hickenlooper, Governor Polis, Mayor Phil Rico, Tim Schultz, Wally Wallace, and Marilyn Lusler. My deep thanks also to the team at Gibbs Construction, HHL Architects, the El Pomar Foundation, History Colorado and the State Historical Fund, the Gates Family Foundation, Asset Living Property Management, the Trinidad Housing Authority, and the amazing team of Will Law, Wendy Holmes, Andrew Michaelson, Tio Aiken, and Greg Foley, along with many more ArtSpace staff members who made this project and celebration possible. So here's a big round of applause. Obviously, it took all of you to make this happen, stick to it, to get it done. So lastly, I'd like to thank and introduce the brilliant Margaret Hunt of Colorado Creative Industries and Tim Schultz. These two leaders are the vision and heart behind Colorado's Space to Create program.
Who's on first? You're on first. No, I'm on second. I just want to really say how emotional this is to stand here after working on this for so many years when it was just an idea, and it was this guy's idea right here. And this wouldn't have happened without Tim. Tim was able to get the Betcher Foundation, when he was president and CEO, to commit $250,000 to each project, which is no small feat. And that was first in money. And that's first in money is trusting that this community is going to deliver. And the first in money is the hardest money to come up with. So I just want to say, Tim, I mean, it's just been incredible to work with you. And we have become partners in crime in so many ways since then. And I have to say that we put community revitalization grant funding into this project. And that community revitalization grant funding would not have come to us from the state legislature and from the governor's office fully supporting it if this had not been the catalyst for this kind of thinking about how important these projects are for community revitalization in our state. So, I'm deeply grateful. And honored to work in state government and to be a part of this. And I'm so exhausted now by how long this project took that I'm retiring. And I just want to announce that. I'm going out on October 31st. People say, why October 31st? And I say, because I'm a witch. And I also want to acknowledge two council members, and it's the Council on Creative Industries. Tim has been chair, he did 2 full terms as chair of the council. Bobby Lefebvre, who you are going to hear from, and Aaron Mendenhall, your city council members, serve on the Council of Creative Industries. And they are appointed by the governor, and I deeply appreciate their support and commitment to the work that we're doing across the state.
This is an emotional day for both of us. There's just so much work that so many people have put into this. And they asked a couple folks, said, tell just how did this get started? How did Space to Create come about? This is a full circle. It came about because of Trinidad. In rural philanthropy days, 10 years ago, I came down with the Betcher Foundation. We were at round tables or at tables talking about community issues, and we heard the same things, but it was very impassioned here in Trinidad. The issue of housing, the issue of downtown, the issue of jobs leaving the community, the issue of young people not staying in the community, all those were what the town talked about. And I'd been at Betcher for 20-some years, I'd run DOLA, it's like every town said that, there was no answer. And within about 2 weeks, we get a grant request from a group called ArtSpace in Minneapolis.
to help do a project in Loveland, Colorado. The feed and game that they wanted to save and to then build apartments. And I read the application and they talked about building affordable housing for creators. And it struck me, oh my gosh, why could we not do this in rural Colorado? That could be an answer to what we're talking about. We could have housing, we could do it on Main Street. Real estate was not expensive. They'd give it to you if you went to the right bank. So I actually did something I'd never done. I called Kelly's office and I said, we're interested in giving a grant, but I'm not going to give the grant until I meet the president. And Kelly flew out and met with me in the office. And I said, would you be willing to do this in rural communities? And he said, well, I'd love to, but the financing doesn't work because we use low-income housing tax credits. In a small town, you can't do 100 units or 70 units, and they're not going to generate enough money out of those tax credits to finish the project. So how much are you short? What would it take if we did 20 or 30 units? He said, I don't know, maybe $1 million. My eyes got big and I said, hey, I'll worry about the money if you would partner with us and build these because we don't have the expertise to do it. And with that, I went to Margaret. I said, we're going to go to Minneapolis and we're going to see this thing called our space. And we flew out there, took some of the board from Venture, and they in turn flew to Colorado. We went to 4 different rural communities, and they kept saying, Tim, this takes longer than you think. And I said, nah, we can do this in 2 or 3 years. But anyway, we said we're going to commit to do this. And I cannot tell you what an incredible partner ArtSpace has been. Because along the course of this project, there have been multiple times when the developer could have said, enough's enough, it's not going to happen. And the city could have said, enough's enough, it's not going to happen. But everyone was committed to the project, and we saw it through. We then went, well, prior to the project, we went to the governor because we knew we needed more money, and that was then John Hickenlooper. And he said, well, Tim, you've got this great idea, but you've worked with DOLA, and it's a big, elaborate idea of having communities apply for it and everything. I'm only going to be governor 2 more years. I want a town right now that we can get started on while I'm governor. And Margaret and I talked, and I said, we've got the town. That town is Trinidad, Colorado. It has the best bones, the best people. As a community to change their image of who they are, to pull together, to create a new vibrant economy around tourism, around art, around creativity, around celebrating who they are, not abandoning their history, celebrating it and taking it to the next level. So he said, great, go. And then we started the whole Space to Create project, and Trinidad was our demonstration space. And with that came this incredible responsibility. And the responsibility was yours. If you did not perform as a community, the entire project statewide goes nowhere. And Trinidad stepped up every single time that they needed to. And that took courage. And I will tell you that Mayor Rico was elected right after we started this. So it's taken. Now he's going to be term limited out. His entire career as mayor. Tara was at every single meeting and would call Margaret and say, we got a problem here, we got a problem there, let's figure out how we do this. But every single time, they would come back and say, you know, if you just give us a little bit of help, we'll do the rest. And there was ways that the state, local affairs always came through. Chantel was always at the table. And we're here today. So I just want to say that this is an absolute incredible accomplishment. Every one of the residents here take pride in this place. This is yours. There's a lot of wonderful things going on here. The Cimino family has done tremendous amounts of things here. But this one, you guys own. You did it. And it's that and the other work that's happening, the new parks, the new hotels, the things that are happening. This town's on the verge of just a renaissance that's incredible. And it's due to your hard work. I'm so proud to have it be sort of a capstone project that I could be involved in at that last part of my career. So I know that was too long, but thank you so much. Debbie out here. Debbie, I'm going to take the podium home with me. I don't know, you might want to come home. Podium has a big lady on it.
So, I'm supposed to introduce Marilyn Lusler, right? Are you going to do that? Oh, okay. All right. Marilyn, hold on.
Couple things. One thing I forgot to say is, when I started my mayorship in 2016, there were board members or city council members that actually had already said yes to the project. So we need to acknowledge those previous city council members that stepped up to the plate and said, yes, this can be done. And by the way, Martin, are you ready to retire? You can't retire because we've got more projects for you.
All right. So, in 2014, we certified, so one of the things our agency does is certify creative districts around the state. And we certified Trinidad. And it was that foundation of having a state-certified creative district that gave us the confidence to launch this project here. And that meant a lot. And so, Marilyn, I want you to come up and say a few words as the tireless leader of the creative district.
I just want to say there have been hundreds and hundreds of hands and thousands of hours put into this project from the very inception and the very idea of this becoming something for Trinidad. And I love the fact that Kelly mentioned the fact that we brought art cars to pick them up at the local airport the first time they visited. That wasn't necessarily planned. We have no public transportation in the city of Trinidad. And we were trying to figure out how we would get these dignitaries and VIPs downtown. Art cars. So that was kind of a last minute thing, but it's an example of how Trinidad comes forward with innovative ideas and solutions to problems and dilemmas and all of that. So there are so many people to thank. I couldn't possibly name everyone. The community as a whole has been very supportive. We certainly have had naysayers and doubters, but I thank those people as well because it kept us on our toes, and we worked hard to make sure that this project would be inclusive and would welcome every single person in our community, regardless of their history in town, or whether or not they were newcomers, or exactly what their philosophies were, whatever. And so this is that perfect example of how to include an entire community. And again, so many thanks are out there. I can't even begin to express the importance of everyone who stepped up and helped with this from the very beginning. And in particular, on a more personal note, I would like to express my thanks to my best friend, my traveling partner, my the person that I commune with, and who will probably be as happy as anyone in this community that this is now open, is my husband Lou. So thank you. I love you. And you may have a life again. So again, thank you to all of the early people who took part in meetings and surveys and communication and planning and on and on and on. This is really an exciting, thrilling day for our community, for me personally, and for everyone who's been so involved in this project. So thank you and welcome to everyone.
Good evening, everyone. How is everyone? My My name is Bobby Lefebvre. I'm the Poet Laureate for the state of Colorado, and I'm super, super excited to be here. Very excited to be with you all this evening. You know, as I'm sitting back here listening to this incredible project, a few things come to mind, right? It's the idea that art and culture and creativity are cornerstones of our culture, and more than cornerstones of our culture, they lead and they show us a way forward. And before we see any large-scale social, political, economic change, art and culture and creativity and visionaries are at the beginning. So give it up for everyone who made this happen. I want to share, sort of more so than a poem, this is sort of an invocation. This is a piece called An Exercise in Ritual, and it really gets to the idea of how we as artists and creative people do what we do, why we do it, and it's dedicated to all of you, to this space, and to the amazing work that will surely come in years ahead of us. We gather here together in this sacred circle like we always have. Here around this fire that has always burned. The same fire that lives in our bellies and makes an inferno of our hearts. This spirit we summon, this beauty we conjure, this inventiveness we invoke. What is a vessel but a carrier of the coveted, a transmitter of quintessence, a conduit of culture? Come and meet us at the place where ritual is given a body, where ceremony is given a face, where our existence transfigures into a song we warble in unison. For he who sharpens his imagination is a visionary. She who gives shape to intuition is a prophet. They who hold mortality beseech the immortal. Look at what we are building together. We, the masons of reimagining, the architects of metamorphosis, the repositories of our collective consciousness. Blessed be the makers, the ones who set themselves ablaze willingly to warm the masses, the ones who traverse the unknown, giving life to the unseen. Join us as we turn ourselves inside out. Watch as we illuminate what kindles inside our bones, these places where we find and lose ourselves at the same time. These messages we devise with purpose, these aesthetics we mold from the supple clay of our minds. Join us at these holy places of abandon, these playgrounds of ingeniousness, these geneses of more inspired tomorrows. For who does not admire a flower unfolding? Who does not feel the warmth of the sun shining boldly upon their face? Whose feet do not move at the coaxing of the drum's sound? Come and meet us at a new juncture where expression devoid of consciousness is merely decoration, where art is an insistent incubator for justice, where equity and access are an altar we decorate with the flowers of promise and purpose. For what is it to highlight the margins but an attempt to balance the scales? What is a raised fist but a war cry in the language of the purposely silenced? What is dissent but innate aversion to the confines of the status quo? Art and culture is a communal land that does not know borders. A common language we are all born speaking fluently. A right that has been paraded around is a privilege for far too long. Come and help us rip the esoteric from the sky. Let our hands reach for the stars, grasp them, and share their tangible glow with anyone drawn to their light. And here, we will all shine and wander together. Here, we will eradicate all of the man-made barriers we impose upon one another. This beautiful burden we carry, this responsibility tethered to our pens, paint, pirouettes, percussion, and performance. This work, this digging, these hands unearthing the truth. This joy, this beauty, this struggle, these songs, these testaments, these heirlooms, these markers of humanity that remind us that we are here, that we are alive, that we always have been, and that we always will be. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that passionate poem. There's a few more people that I want to thank for this project. obviously everyone that already came up and spoke, and those of you who gave thanks to me, I greatly appreciate it. And first of all, I want to make a few announcements. The Art Space lofts upstairs are open for people to go check out if they would like. We also, just today, welcomed 3 new tenants that are retail spaces in this space that I encourage you all to go check out. That is Animus Fine Arts is the furthest one, SoCo Mountain Art Emporium in the middle, and then Gypsy Moon Kisses Bath and Body Works is the one closest to us. But like I said, I got a few more people that I'd like to make sure that get thanked for this project, and one of them is Andrew Michaelson, who helped us MC. My first day here, he was definitely a guiding light. He's the one who told us about big ass fans that we now have 2 out back here, and that's the name of the company, so I can get away with saying that. And then obviously Marilyn Loosler has been just essential to getting this project done, and has been a huge guide for me as I've been doing this. I'd also like to say a special thank you to Talitha Gillespie in the back. She was very essential for this project. She helped us get the grant funding to really finish it out most recently. Steve Larson, who was over there, but I think he knew I was going to thank him, so now he's hiding. He was our general contractor who finished this last stuff. He didn't want to be here, but he's here for the breed. Sean Rogan, who is our leasing agent for these spaces, and we do still have spaces available, so if you came here tonight and absolutely fell in love with the space and would like to set up your store in here, please contact Sean Rogan. And then there's a few people at the city who have just been a huge help to me. Audra Garrett is one of them. But really the person, let's hear it for Audra. Really the person I personally have to thank the most, who isn't here this evening and who recently left the city, is Mike Valentine. There's been a few times this project left me wanting to pull my hair out, and he was just always so helpful, and I just want to say thank you to him. Okay, so for the rest of the evening, we have some live entertainment to go. Coming up a little bit later, we have music by Jackie Gibson and by Kevin Castro. But in the meantime, please welcome me in joining 2 comedians that are very creative and relocated to Trinidad, knowing the projects like this were happening. We'll have Jay Gillespie a little bit later, but in the meantime, please welcome Nathan Lund.
Tables that we have in our conference room, and also our desks in the Creative District offices, which is just through these doors. We were able to hire artists locally to construct these items to help furnish the space, thanks to grants and funding from Colorado Creative Industries. So make sure that you wander through and see everything there is to admire here. Thank you so much. And now for the real Nathan Lund.
Hi everybody, hey, feel free to leave, I guess? What do you already had some snacks. They don't have more food back there. You guys already... I actually was supposed to be here earlier, I'm sorry. I had to get tires at Walmart, and it took forever. It took longer than it took to open this place. That's how long it took. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding, but it was worth the wait, wasn't it? This is incredible. This is really nice. Yeah. Great job, everybody. I am on the Creative District Board, so I had very little to do with this, but if you want to thank me afterwards, I will shake your hand and immediately put some hand sanitizer on me. I've been down here since the beginning of last year. Moved down here, my wife and I moved down here to Trinidad from Denver, Colorado. You might have heard of Denver. It's 3 hours north of here. Thanks for having us. We love it down here, you know. Left a lot of good friends in Denver. There were a lot of reasons why we left. You know, it's very expensive in Denver. You guys have been up there. You ever get a sandwich in Denver? My God, you have to take out a loan. We weren't going to be able to buy a house anytime soon because we have very bad credit from robbing banks. That'll really ding you. You rob a couple banks, you're not going to be able to get any credit cards for at least a few years. The traffic's horrible up there, you know. A lot of reasons why we came down here. But every time my friends in Denver ask why we left, you know, I don't want to say all that every time. So lately I've just been summing it up by saying, I hate axe throwing bars. And that kind of lets people know why we left Denver. If any of these spaces become an axe throwing bar, I'm telling you right now, I'm moving to Raton the next day. I don't like them. I don't understand them. So please, let's not try to hurry up and bring Trinidad an axe throwing bar if we can help it. I'm surprised that COVID didn't take out the axe throwing bars. How are they thriving? I don't understand that. Seems like there should have been one axe throwing bar. It should have been open for one day. And that should have been it, you know. The 5 o'clock edition of the news, the reporters down there, hey, we're all excited down here at the grand opening of the axe throwing bar. And then the 11 o'clock edition of the news, tragedy strikes, the grand opening of the axe throwing bar. We have the victim right here. The axe is still in his head. He's like, I don't know what happened, but the drinks are strong and the axes are sharp. I will be back. As soon as I get this thing out of my head, I'm going to hop on the Lime scooter. That is another reason why my wife and I left Denver. The Lime scooters, you guys. Let's try to stick to walking, bicycles, skateboards are cool. Maybe some rollerblades. Maybe those will come back. We don't need the Lime scooter. I knew I was getting older when I started to get mad at people on Lime scooters in Denver, you know. Somebody would whiz by on a Lime scooter and I would say, oh yeah, why would you have a helmet on? You're going 45 miles an hour on the sidewalk. Why would you want to be safe? Hey, yeah, have your girlfriend and your best friend on one Lime scooter. They're built for 3. That's when I was like, all right, I'm definitely 40. I started to feel it in my bones. When I complained about the lack of helmets for the Lime scooters. I would have been here sooner. I had to pick from one of my shirts that fit. I gained a little weight. I wanted to wear my fun shirts. A lot of shirts for bigger guys are very fun, right? You know, they'll have like a bunch of different lightning bolts on it or flowers, you know. That's when you know you got a fat guy fun shirt in your future. Mine has a bunch of flowers on it. Sometimes there's like little canoes. It's like, I can't swim. I can't be in a canoe. It feels like a cruel joke. It's other fun stuff, you know, like a bunch of little piñatas. Yeah, I'll bet you could have a nice time in a canoe, you normal sized. So-and-so. I want a fat guy shirt that has a bunch of little coffins on it. You know, let's be honest. Have some caskets on that fat fun guy shirt. So remind you, this fat guy's not going to be around forever, not unless I start to hit the gym. Thank you. You made it through 3 jokes. I appreciate you. Go check out the food truck. There's a lot of stuff to see. The bathrooms are great. If you want to talk to me after this, please don't. I'd rather not. No, I'm kidding. If you enjoy my comedy, feel free to say hello. Sometimes after shows, people want to talk to me and they want to be mean. I don't get that. Why don't you just go home? You don't have to talk to me about how bad I am at comedy. One time a guy talked down to me after the show, you know, said he didn't like me, didn't like my stuff. And I tried to shrug it off because he was a dumb guy, you know, but it still hurt. He was a dumb guy, though. I know we're not supposed to call people dumb. He was dumb. He didn't know the difference between good and well. Now, that's a pretty dumb person, right? He was telling me how he grew up on a farm, and he told me, we used to get our water out of a good. I was like, I don't think that's the right term. I've been traveling a lot. I hate flying. I'm sure you guys also don't like flying. Well, if you like flying, you're probably petite and chilly all the time. Those people love flying. Like, oh yeah, I stretch out, get a couple blankets. Oh yeah, it's great. Not me, man. I cannot, I'm too big for coach, too poor for first class. So I cannot feel comfortable on a plane. And it's always been annoying to fly, but I think it's even worse these last couple of years. People are a little more impatient, you know, a little quicker to anger, you know. Last month I was getting ready to fly to Houston, and we were on the plane, you know, but we hadn't left the gate yet. We were still sitting there on the plane, and it was like a few minutes past our scheduled departure time, so everybody was getting a little antsy. And then a flight attendant came over the loudspeaker. She was like, "Hey folks, sorry for the delay. We're checking out a quick mechanical issue, but don't worry, we should have you up in the air and on your way to Houston in no time." And like 2 seconds after the announcement ended, this guy a couple rows behind me went, "Just go!" I was like, I don't think we're gonna just go. I think they're gonna check out the thing that could kill us all in the sky instead of just going. The guy's like, "I have a meeting, roll the dice." It's like, no, let's... How important is that meeting, pal? Where it's better that you're on time and dead than a little bit late and still alive, you know? It's 8:59 and the boss is like, "Where is Tucker?" And then a Delta employee comes into the office with a wheelbarrow full of charred remains. "Here he is, sir. Sorry about that. I hope Tucker wasn't supposed to take notes during the meeting, but he is here." Just a wheelbarrow full of smoking bones. Thank you guys for being here. Let's keep the good times rolling. Oh yeah, thank you. Let's redirect that applause to Marilyn and everybody else involved with this. What a great accomplishment. This is really great. This is really nice. So yeah, I'm gonna bring up a very good friend. He's the first comedian to move down here to Trinidad. I wish I could claim those bragging rights, but this was the original. I followed his lead, and I'm so glad that we're both down here in Trinidad, living it up. Please welcome to the stage, Jay Gillespie. Let him hear it.
Okay. Dignitaries, the question I need you to ask yourselves right now is, are you even willing to come on this journey with me? I met a girl. This doesn't happen very often, but I wanted to get to know her. So I took her out for a coffee, asked her a whole bunch of questions, and she talked, and I listened. With every word she said, I just kept hearing one thing. That was red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red. I said, this girl's a red flag. She was like, mostly I date violent dudes. I go, why would you even tell me that? We are on a date right now. She goes, my last boyfriend, he's in jail, and I was visiting him yesterday, and I was like, go on. And what she said is he told her the next guy that she dates, he's gonna rip the arms right off his chest. I was like, slow down. Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. She was like, hey Jay, do you have any weed? I was like, no. I was like, red flag, red flag, red flag. And what was funny is I actually had a couple of joints roll up. I just wasn't gonna smoke it with her. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all smoked weed before. This next song is for Jean-Michel. It's for Michel Claude. It's for Claude Zachary and Zachary Pierre. It's for Pierre Marc Paul and Marc Paul Jean. Jean-Pierre Claude and Jean-Emmanuel Pierre and Pierre Marc Jean Paul Claude and Paul Zachary. And it goes like this. Un, trois, tres, vieux, Canada. It's Canada. That's the second best country that's in North America. That's right. That's all they get. You know what I mean? The question is, who's number one, right? She's like, hiya! Her ponytail was swinging, and she's like, hiya, karate chop! And I think that she's so beautiful, hiya, front kick! And I think her name might have been Patty, or Michelle, or Jessica, or Elizabeth, but I'll be honest, it doesn't mention hot girl in my karate class. She's the hot girl in my karate class. And in this dojo, cold light, she has a black belt in law. And I love the way that Mr. Miyagi loves Yuki back in Okinawa. Hot girl. Okay. Y'all haven't seen Karate Kid 2 recently. I understand. Okay. Everybody having fun out at Space to Create. And then somebody did a painting at Space to Create. And then they hung it in the lobby at Space to Create. And then somebody else bought it at Space to Create. And then somebody wrote a poem at Space to Create. And then they came up on the stage at Space to Create. And then they read that poem at Space to Create. And then they brought me up at Space to Create. I'm as confused as you at Space to Create. We all try to figure out what's going on at Space to Create. All right, I wrote that song 8 years ago. And it just now became relevant. Isn't that crazy? I came here tonight to tell you this. The only thing easier than comedy is poetry. Only thing easier than comedy is poetry. Walt Whitman, William Shakespeare, E.E. Cummings, Saul Williams. All of these people wrote poetry because they couldn't get laid being funny now. Only thing easier than comedy. Okay, wait, I see some confused looks on some of your faces. So I'm going to break it down for you. Moon rises over Trinidad streets. Her serpentine feet slither down the red brick roads. Cars driven from across this country. Sunrise, moon sets, starlight. Place your bets on the future of Trinidad. Eyes open, tears, eyes closed. Joy, birth, death, weddings, life. All of this great myriad rainbow of feelings, rainbow of emotions. One button at the top of a shirt. Her eyes, crystals, sparkle beneath the great roaring highway. The dragon of industry, his teeth bare to the great disastrous light. Each of us supine, supple, beneath a tree whose leaves fall. And here, each of us, waiting for that great sleep, waiting together, waiting for the great to come and swallow us whole. For I am Jonah, and Trinidad is the whale. The only thing easier than comedy is poetry. Only thing, okay, I'm gonna do one more song, and I wasn't gonna do it, but some of y'all, it ain't easy making a living as a stand-up comedian, all right? I ain't gonna put any of my kids through college from this show tonight, but that's fine. I do it for the looks on some of your faces, all right? I do it because when I get in front of a good, juicy crowd like this, and I'm gonna be honest, some of you people downhill from Minneapolis look like you got some money. And when I get in front of a good, juicy crowd, I like to talk about my side hustle. I like to talk about how I really stack up the paper, so that if you're in the market to make a major purchase, I don't know, maybe, just maybe, you'll look inside your heart, and maybe you'll think of me. Jay Gillespie, I'm a hot tub salesman. Hot tub salesman. You need a hot tub? You get it from me. Jay Gillespie, I'm a hot tub salesman. And I got all the best hot tubs in Southern Colorado, y'all. If you want an inferior hot tub, and I don't know why you would, there's plenty of places you can go. Tom's Hot Tub Emporium down in Raton. I call them Teflon tubs, okay? I got hot tubs that come in 74 different colors. I'm gonna list them all for you right now. Red, blue, cyan, aquamarine. I also have patterns, American flag, bald eagle, camouflage. Someone asked about water jets. I have water jets shoot the water out 4 different directions, 9 different speeds. Okay, that's 36 options. Industry standard, 5. I've got hot tubs that'll go great on a Sunday afternoon with your family. I've got hot tubs that go great with cocaine and strippers. Your choice, okay? We've got let me ask, can I ask you a question, sir? What would you think is the average hottest temperature that a hot tub can get to in America? 105 is absolutely correct. How did you know that? You work for Tom down in Raton, you're spying on me. 105 degrees is correct. My hot tubs get up to 270 degrees. You would not want it that hot. That is hot enough to cook a rabbit, but I want you to have the options. Just shout out any of the features you're looking for in a hot tub. I got that hot tub. I'm Jay Gillespie. I'm a hot tub salesman. Hot tub salesman. Hey, thank you so much. Our space is amazing. Enjoy the rest of the night, please. Someone will come up and introduce the next artist, and y'all are really going to enjoy that. Thank you so much.
There's a band. I can shut it down.
Yeah,